Have you ever noticed that the more you reflect, the more distance you feel from others? That the deeper your questions get, the quieter the room becomes? You're not imagining it. Deep thinking has always come with a hidden price, one few talk about. It's not about being too smart or having all the answers. It's about seeing life with sharper clarity and realizing most people aren't looking at all. From ancient sages to modern-day minds, those who ask the uncomfortable questions about purpose, meaning, truth, often find themselves on the margins. Not because they're wrong, but because they no longer fit in. The world doesn't fear intelligence. It fears what intelligence reveals. So why does this happen? Why do deep thinkers often feel unseen, unheard, or misunderstood? It begins with human nature. Most people seek comfort, not clarity. We build our lives on routines, assumptions, and shared illusions. And when someone begins to question those things, really question them, it disrupts the balance. It's like shining a light in a dim room. Not everyone is ready for what it exposes. Imagine this. If someone walks into a room with physical strength, we admire them. If they show wealth, we might be curious or envious. But if someone shows intellectual depth, speaks about consciousness, mortality, illusion, freedom, people become uneasy. Why? Because intelligence doesn't just inform, it reflects. It holds up a mirror. And in that reflection, others often see their own unasked questions, their own discomfort. It's not that the thinker is arrogant, it's that their presence quietly exposes what's been ignored. This is what psychologists call cognitive dissonance, the mental tension we feel when reality challenges what we believe. Deep thinkers trigger that dissonance simply by existing. And so, in conversations, they're often met with silence. When they bring up existence, time, or the nature of suffering, people change the subject, not out of rudeness, but survival. We are wired, biologically, to protect the worldview we've built. Challenging that feels like emotional danger. Our brains don't process deep ideas as puzzles. They process them as threats. Evolution didn't favor the most thoughtful. It favored the most accepted. In tribal times, being part of the group meant survival. And so, even today, being different, especially mentally, can trigger a fear response in others. Not fear of the person, fear of the disruption. The thinker becomes the intruder, not because they did anything wrong, but because they think outside the boundary of what's familiar. What's fascinating is that studies show this effect multiplies in group settings. In one-on-one conversations, deep thinkers are often appreciated, but in crowds, their presence threatens the social hierarchy. When people feel mentally outshined, even unintentionally, they react by dismissing, ignoring, or excluding, not because they dislike the person, but because they feel exposed. And it doesn't stop there. In today's world, attention is currency, and deep thought doesn't sell quickly. Algorithms reward quick takes, not nuanced ones. Outrage spreads, soundbites thrive, and thinkers who reflect slowly, who hesitate before answering, who prefer honesty over certainty, get lost in the noise. This is the paradox of modern intellect. The deeper your thoughts, the harder it becomes to package them in a world moving faster every day. So what do we do with this? If thinking deeply leads to isolation, is it worth it? The answer depends on your definition of worth. If you seek belonging at any cost, deep thought may feel like a burden. But if you seek truth, even when it's heavy, even when it's lonely, you begin to see isolation not as punishment, but as a byproduct of clarity. The great thinkers of the past, Lao Tzu, Marcus Aurelius, Simone Weil, Kierkegaard, didn't write to please the crowd. They wrote because they couldn't ignore the questions burning within them. And maybe that's the true calling of the deep thinker, not to be understood by all, but to offer understanding to those ready for it. So if you've ever felt alone in your thoughts, you're not broken. You're tuned into a frequency most can't yet hear, and somewhere out there, quietly, curiously, someone else is listening too.